What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the NCAA Hoops Hour. I am the big man on campus. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. It is Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. Got a lot to do today. We'll get to some games here. We'll try to talk through some things and really just talk about really whatever you want to talk about here on the show. Hope you're having a great day, as I said. Yeah, we'll get after it. Last night I had a loser on my website. Just have had some tough luck and some kind of bad execution in the second half. That's the second game this week that I've had the team just completely collapse in the second half. And we had it happen with the Richmond Spiders. But we pick it up. We move on. We got a play tonight that we're looking to bang out. It is the best play on the board, in my opinion. And I can't wait to have it cash, hopefully. But we'll get into it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll throw out my thoughts as well with the card tonight. So check in, say hello, tell me you're here, and say hi. Brandon Cummings, what's up? Hope you're doing well. And all of you guys, hope you're doing well. Nice day around here. Finally sunny for once, which is good. Which I'm happy about. You know, it's always nice when you see the sun. I got out there and moved around a little bit today and kind of did my thing. So that was nice. So, all right, let's get into some games here. We will chat about really whatever you want. So send that info in right now. All right, first game. You know, again, these are really just some thoughts, games that I thought were interesting, but for one reason or another, they didn't make my card. Not saying I won't bet them, maybe bet them small or something if you're interested. Chad Alston, what's up? Brandon Cummings, Brian Baker, Bobby Brown, what's up? Arthur Washington. Thoughts on Barstool and Penn National? Yeah, that's obviously huge news. And, I've talked with Big Cat, and people know that I've talked with him for years. He's one of the hardest working people in the business. I'm proud to know him, and I'm happy that he's going to get more and more money. There's no one that deserves it more than him. Those guys and women, girls over there, they do such work and time they put into stuff. And obviously Dave Portnoy, who is the leader of the ship, him and I had our conversations, and when I was up there, and I hope maybe someday we can get something to work with them and I. I've always been a fan of Barstool. I've had my certain issues one way or another with certain people there, but Dan, Dave, Kevin, all those guys. Obviously Erica, who was very nice to me. They're all great people, and I've. That's what they've worked so hard for. So I give them all the respect in the world. Maybe someday, I guess for them and me, I guess I could see, I don't know. We'll see. I think there's plenty to offer. It's just, I guess for me at that time, it wasn't the greatest thing for me to do in my personal life, but who knows? All right, let's get into the card here. A couple of games here. Houston's really interesting tonight, laying the 13 at East Carolina. Houston is a group that is playing some really good basketball right now. Defensively, they've looked absolutely awesome. And, I think with Houston, it just seems like, as usual, they're right there. Kelvin Sampson, at some point, we're going to have to give him some good respect here. This guy is quite the coach. You look at over the last 5 games, giving up just 57 points per game. And I have some real concerns tonight about East Carolina and how they score in this game. This is a group that struggles as it is to score the basketball outside of Jaden Gardner. They shoot under 30% from 3. And you look at their past 5 games against Houston. They've lost by 34, 44, 51, 16, and 22. That's an average median losing score of 33 points. They're losing games by over 30 a game against Houston over the last 5. This team has been horrible against Houston. And you look at the way Houston plays defensively. They run a lot of man-to-man. They really pressure the basketball. They really wall off the paint. And you're really in the half court. They're a bear to score against. And only the great offenses find the ability to score against them. And one thing we know that East Carolina is not, and that's great offense. I think they struggle tonight in this game. It's a Houston team that I think is playing with a lot of confidence right now. They have just 2 losses since November 22nd. So since Thanksgiving, they've lost twice. Pretty impressive stuff from Kelvin Sampson. This team rebounds at such a high margin, one of the better teams in the country on the glass. They really, just swat shots. I mean, everything they do is just tough, hard-nosed basketball. And I have some real concerns about how East Carolina puts the basketball in the hoop tonight. So for me, I would definitely consider maybe taking a shot with Houston. Why I didn't play this, I think obviously the big concern is always when you're on the road and laying double digits. I mean, it's difficult to do. So, that's kind of a conflicting issue here, but they should win by 15 plus. Stephen F. Austin I found interesting tonight, but I've noticed with the Lumberjacks, they just continue to win games by 5, 6, 7 points. I mean, they're a really good offensive team, but they do lack a lot on the defensive end. And that's one of Stephen F. Austin's issues. They're a team that can just really pound you, in transition, but can they get enough stops here? And that's kind of the big concern. They have played 3 or 4 on the road. They're back at home in the friendly confines. So they should obviously play at a higher level from that situation. And I think Abilene Christian's numbers are a little skewed after some of the competition they've taken care of. So I think for me, that was interesting. But for whatever reason about Stephen F. Austin, their numbers continue to kind of plummet. Every night they're like 9-point favorites, and then by game time they're 7.5 point, 8-point favorites. It's kind of weird. The public and bettors seem to be kind of negative on them, to be real honest. Does Dayton lose tonight? I'm going to go with no on that. Mitchell saying road favorites. Yeah, I mean, anytime you bet a road favorite, you're playing with fire. I mean, anytime you bet a road team in general, you're playing with fire. Bonaventure, I would not be on tonight. Unless if Olusun Olusuni's playing, they're an impossible bet. You cannot bet Bonaventure without Olusuni. He is so important to what they do on both the defensive and offensive ends. You look at the way he plays. He is a shot blocker, rim protector. He basically walls the paint off. Players will not go into the paint because of his ability to block shots. He really plays like Taco Fall. That's kind of his game. You look at on offense, he's setting screens. He's getting guards into good situations. Without him, you do not have any of that production in their offense and defense has shown. They got blown out by Virginia Commonwealth. They've not been good in games without him. I think in this season, without him, they have 1 win. He's just not a guy I would want to bet without. St. Louis, I'll tell you why I wouldn't bet St. Louis. And if you're going to bet St. Louis, you might want to look first half. St. Louis is, as usual, one of the worst foul shooting teams in the country. They were bad last year. They actually lost the A-10 tournament title game because of it. They cannot make foul shots. And it's been an issue for Travis Ford's group for years now. For whatever reason, they just don't care about foul shooting. It's really odd. And it's given them issues. And laying points at them becomes tough at times. As far as your call with Davidson, yeah, I mean, Davidson's been one of the most disappointing teams in the country. Again, I don't hate them in a spot like this, but all 3 of the teams you mentioned, I think there are flaws with them. Now, I got to tell you right now, just because I tell you something, go with your gut. I mean, I haven't exactly been, the greatest handicapper over the last month or so, but, do what you got to do. But whenever you bet a road team, you're always playing with fire. I don't have any opinion on NBA as far as that game. And as far as Oladipo coming back, generally the first game of someone coming back, I don't have much opinion on. I generally like to see how the game flows before they come back. Vortex, what's up? Penn State or Illinois or Indiana? Yeah, Indiana is interesting. I actually think they're a better team than a lot of people do. Most people don't give them much respect for some reason. I seem to. I like Trace Jackson Davis a lot. I like their guard play. I think Archie Miller is a good coach. And, Penn State is a team that I think, you know, my big concern about Penn State tonight is their ability to rebound. They are not a good rebounding team. And one thing about Indiana, they slam you on the glass. And that could be a game where, it just might be too many points. People fall in love with the home team in the Big Ten, and you should. I mean, the Big Ten is a great conference for home teams, but again, I'm not betting that game. If you gave me a free bet, though, I would probably take the Hoosiers there. We'll see if their road woes can improve. Who else do we have in here? Robbie Tops, what's up? Mike Butler, what's up? Chad Alston tied against Tigers. Too bad it's not football. It'll be a great game. This one I was kind of on the fence about because I'll be honest, I've said this for weeks. I don't know how you lay points with LSU. I mean, if they're 1.5 point favorite, okay, but if they're laying 5, anything above 3, I don't have any real reason to think you should bet them. I mean, they're 6-8 as a favorite this year, and they failed to cover in 7 of the last 10. This is interesting about Alabama. As an underdog this year, they're 5-1 against the spread, but straight up, they're 1-5. What's that tells you? What does that tell you? They basically play a lot of 1 and 2 possession games. That's what they do. My issue here defensively is, though, I mean, Alabama is not a good defensive team. They're on the road here. I could see LSU finally getting a cover, to be real honest, but it's hard to go against Alabama. I mean, they're 15-4 against the spread this year. They're one of the best in the country. And those numbers for LSU have kind of just been, concerning. So it's hard to lay points with them right now. But just remember, Alabama plays a mile a minute. They're going to turn the ball over a lot, and they're going to struggle on the defensive end. The Sports Keg's in here. What's up, Sports Keg? I've been looking at props the last night or two, and I have a prop, guys, that in the Super Bowl that I bet fairly big. I bet what I could. As the most they'd let me bet on it. It's a big favorite, but I think it's free money, to be real honest with you. So sometimes in the prop market, you have to be willing to lay prices. The people that are constantly looking for underdog props, you're not going to win. Look for the props that are laying 430, 520, 360. Again, in the prop market, that is where I have no problem laying those kind of numbers. Sometimes you got to lay $1,000 to win 350 or 300 to win 60. It's about profit, and the expected value you're getting on these props are sky high. I mean, case in point, the prop that I bet. I laid 435, minus 435. Will the broadcast mention the word Patriots? That's the best prop on the board. Just like my prop last year that they'd show Bon Jovi next to what's his name? Kraft. It's just about finding these fucking props. If you can find them and bet them, you should be betting them. These fucking people that tell you shouldn't lay more than 300. You're right. You shouldn't lay more than 300 on a fucking coin flip game. But in a prop where if you have the ability to find the prop, it's there to bet. So, there's all sorts of fun ones. Will they say Kaepernick? They ain't going to say Kaepernick on this broadcast. It's not going to happen. They don't want to get into that political stuff, and they're not going to do it. So if those will they say this kind of thing, or will they show this kind of thing? That's where you make money in props. You don't make props figuring out if Mecole Hardman's going to score a touchdown or not. They're tough. You make money off the game, things that don't mean anything in the game. So, will they say Jay-Z? Well, if you found anything about the NFL, why wouldn't they? I mean, they're in a partnership with Jay-Z to improve entertainment. and social relations. Why the fuck wouldn't they mention it? I laid it on more passing. That's a good one. More passing yards, Mahomes or Jimmy G. It's a great one. Couple other games tonight. Bradley's interesting, laying 5.5 to Valpo. Valpo 2-5 this year on the road as an underdog. Bradley's been a really good home favorite. Been covering a lot of games. They're getting Darryl Brown back today, which is big. And, I got to tell you, this isn't a vintage Valpo defense. This group has had issues and issues and issues defensively. And, you look at Valpo, another road game here, and another game you're going to have to go on the road and defend. 76 points a game they're giving up on the road this year, Valpo. Not good. Not good. Donny Rightside is joining us. Donny, if you want to join the show, let me know. I'll send you a link. We'll get Donny's quick thoughts here on anything, maybe run something by him. So we don't see Donny much anymore. It's good to see him. I miss doing shows with Donny. He's my only probably real friend in this business, and I value his opinion a lot. So, Donny and I had a great conversation today. We talk all the time about things going on. Let's get Donny in here. Let's bring him in, see what he has to say about this card tonight, or just get his, see him in the flesh. What else do we have here? All right, Dayton. Yeah, as far as laying a number with Dayton, Duquesne's a pretty good basketball team, but I got to tell you, I'm just not really one to get in front of Dayton. I'm just not. I think outside of Miles Powell, Obi Toppin's the best player in the country. But I'll tell you, this is a good spot for Duquesne to say, hey, look, we're pretty damn good here. We got a lot of things to prove. But you look at Duquesne, this group has not played anybody. Duquesne's schedule is laughable. Laughable. The toughest game they played this year is St. Louis. What a joke. This is a major step-up game here. Major. Question is, they're at home. If you know anything about Keith Dambrot, he's a guy that brings in a lot of transfer talent. Keith Dambrot, you look at this current Duquesne team. Sincere Carey is a recruit, but Marcus Weathers, Michael Hughes, all these guys are guys he brought in from the MAC. So this is Duquesne's prove-it moment, guys. This is the game for Duquesne to say, you know what? It's our chance. We haven't played fucking anybody, but we got Dayton coming in. We got a bunch of good transfers that can find ways. But I got to tell you, I'm not looking to get in front of Obi Toppin and Dayton. I'm just not. I don't really care where they are. If I'm not betting on Dayton, I'm not betting against them. Donny Rightside, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Hey. By the way, talking about Dayton, man, how do you stop them on offense? Good Lord.
You don't. That's the thing. They're so efficient. It's crazy. They're just one of those groups like Seton Hall. I've talked about Seton Hall. I just don't want to get in front of those two teams. I think they're really good. I think this kind of year, Donnie, those are the perfect kind of teams you want to be backing from a longer-term perspective. A team that can go on the road and win, and a team that can win really any different way, and they're tough to stop. They're really another team long-term. I know they're not – their record doesn't say they're any good, and people all that care about is records. But I got to tell you, Donnie, in a fucking tournament, there's no team I want to play less than Washington.
Yeah.
That length is wild.
Athletic length. And not just like, sometimes you see like that 6'10" kid from Senegal. It's like, man, he's so uncoordinated out there. Those bigs are incredibly athletic for Washington.
Stewart's a lottery pick right now. I'll tell you right now. He will be a lottery pick next year. Donnie, how have you been? It's good to see you. You've got your Super Bowl ready. I was just talking about a couple of props and thoughts about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I know you have your Pub Search Radio pick, and I want to tell everybody, go check that out. I think finding good content is hard to do anymore. Good thought-provoking content, people that put some time into what they're doing. And I know Donnie does that with his Play of the Day video. He edits it. He puts some pizzazz into it, and he's doing some good things with it. Go check that out at Pub Search Radio. But Donnie, Why don't you share it with us? What do you like tonight?
No, yeah, no. Look, it's one of those things where, and the thing I always get a kick out of, like doing like a play of the day, it's not so much that it's the best play on the card, but
Yes.
it's one of those that you look at and it says, this makes too much sense not to take it. And look, I'm 20-10 through 30 plays. I think it's 9-3 overall in college basketball. And I laugh at myself because sometimes, even though if you lose on your card that you put out in your service and you look back at your play of the day, it's like, why don't I just auto play that? Because it makes sense. And the good part about the videos, they're only like 3 to 4 minutes long. So it's not like we're going over like 15 minutes of analytics and Ken Palm and all this stuff. It's just literally break it down saying, here's why this makes sense. And when people watch it, it's like, you know what? That really does just make sense. How many times, Jeff, do we talk and we overanalyze stuff, and then we'll talk at the end of the night, go, why the hell didn't we just not take this game? It made way too much sense, and we laugh about it. Well, these play of the day games that I do, Jeff, they're the ones that we say, like, this makes too much sense not to take.
Well, I was talking with you earlier, Don. I told you about the game I'm on tonight. I mean, it's just a game for me that I really like. I saw it last night, and I'm just – I think sometimes with like the Ken Palms and the Haslam metrics and all these different places, you look at something, you love something, Donnie, right? You love everything about the game.
Yep.
Then you see, like, case in point, last night, I want to explain this to you. Mississippi State last night.
Yep.
I had that one. I wrote it down. I was all over it. And then I'm looking at it and I'm seeing and I'm saying to myself, Mike White and Florida have to switch up their defense at some point. Like, the defense isn't good enough. Like, they've got to stop putting, man to man and have Blackshear playing these guards and stuff. Just not working. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he'll pack line it up and just say, okay, Mississippi State, you're 13th in the SEC at 3-point shooting. We're just going to make you shoot shot. And he didn't do it. And I said, why didn't I take Mississippi State last night? I knew they were the play. I ended up taking, I like Richmond a lot too. I won't lie. They were my favorite pick, but and I was on the right side in the first half. Should have just played the first half. But I think sometimes we overthink things. And I know tonight for me, I went with a play that I just loved. I loved the spot. I loved the situation. And sometimes you're right. You just have to go with it. But, Donnie, are you ready for the Super Bowl? Are you excited?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting there because I've talked to you earlier today saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a tragedy with Kobe on Sunday, and it still seems like we're getting over it. But we forget, like, it's not like the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It's boring. Like, this is going to be a fun Super Bowl, and I'm finally starting to feel and get into it. Like, you know what? Because me and Jeff, there's very few things than a nightly college basketball card that are more fun and more sweating, and you see it play out. But I got to tell you, I'm finally starting to get there in the Super Bowl. I love the play I have on the game, but I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to kind of get the juices flowing. Like, look at some of these numbers, and it, it was funny. I was on a radio call today, and the host asked me, do you expect this to be a close game? And I said, of course I think it's going to be a close game. But then he goes, I always play the largest lead over or under 14.5 or whatever it is. Donnie, this year it's 16.5. And I thought to myself, well, wait a second, though. It seems like fucking Kansas City goes down 17 or 20 in every game. Yeah. Then they end up leading by 21.
Yep.
So it's like, what do you do there? But, Donnie, what else do you have your eye on anything? Any free picks? Any other thoughts?
For Sunday, we're talking about tonight's card.
Just about tonight's card.
Yeah, how about we talked about this one also yesterday. And I'm saying to myself, Jeff, I'm like, dude, UConn is going to bust Temple.
Yeah.
So I see the 5.5 last night. It goes up to 6.5 today. I'm like, they're going to bust them. Should I take it? And you know me, like again, when you run services, you can't really, hey, 6:58, 7 o'clock play. Like we have to have these out earlier. And that doesn't mean we cheat ourselves, but just by time. And I left the play off my card and went, you know what? I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to call Jeff tonight. And be like, I talked about it last night. I wanted this play. And then I'm seeing about an hour and a half ago,
Gilbert,
two key guys down. I'm saying to myself, this is the shit that goes against you. You know what I mean? Like, very rarely do you bet like, hey, my God, look at this. It's always the plays that like, hey, new starting five tonight. So-and-so's out. You're like, where did that come from? But now I actually think, Jeff, from a UConn perspective, it's now a Temple game for me. Crazy, man.
Let me ask you something about that game tonight. Because you have Memphis playing tonight as well.
Yeah.
Two teams, Memphis and Temple, in dire need of a win. They have to. They need a win badly. And I see two coaches, Donnie, that played in the NBA, Penny Hardaway, Aaron McKee.
Yeah.
Do you think that plays – is there any coach, like, off something – like, to get your team prepared, I feel like those two coaches are going to give such a rousing, like, kind of game plan tonight. I don't know. Something tells me that I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but like
they know the magnitude of the moment, and they know how to get ready for it.
And I
Like, you
think
lose 2 games in the NBA, you need this game tonight in the Eastern Conference.
But I think this week is interesting because you have that Kobe effect. You have that, so many kids playing for their idol, and you have 2 coaches that directly played against Kobe Bryant. It's interesting. I wonder how the week has went for those 2 teams because most coaches didn't play directly against, it's kind of an interesting thing. And it gives you that. Penny Hardaway and Aaron McKee give you an interesting look into an NBA player because most coaches aren't NBA players and we're NBA players. So it's kind of an interesting standpoint. But yeah, I both need wins for sure. And I think UConn is kind of hobbling. They're not playing well as it is. And you're going to throw an important game out there in 5.5, 6 points. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, because the whole cap is coming off. We know how athletic they are with bigs, and it's hard to score. And when you get to the paint, you got guys like Carlton down low that can stop you. But you were saying to yourself, like, all right, you got Vital still, and you have Gilbert. They can sort of control. They'll be able to get their points. Now you knock him down. Now you basically have one legitimate guard score on the outside. I wouldn't want to bet into it. And if you're taking a look and still we're able to get the 6 or 5.5, it makes sense now. And last night I'm saying UConn's going to bust them, and then you get those 2 key injuries. Like, you know what? I don't know if I want any part of UConn.
Yeah, you lose Jalen Adams last year. Gilbert out now, who's one of their main pieces.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Temple that you have to respect, they play some great defense. Offense has been the big story with them, but you'd have to hope, maybe you just get one of those Lonnie Moore performances where he goes 4 for 6 from 3 and they get some timely buckets. But interesting game out West real quick, Donnie. This is weird.
Mm-hmm.
That San Diego State, New Mexico game. San Diego State, obviously, as we know, undefeated. Are you following this situation at New Mexico? Did you hear about this?
Now, are we talking about the players missing it, or is there something else that just crept up today?
There's something that just crept up recently. So, Carlton Bragg's gone. He's gone from the team.
Yeah.
Vance Jackson's out with an injury.
Lyle as well, right?
Jake Lyle's out with an injury. But, Donnie, listen to this. So, he doesn't travel with them on Saturday to their game.
Got smoked.
Lyle has a party Saturday night, and a girl gets shot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They're a fucking mess in New Mexico.
Yeah. They were so talented, too, and they just fell apart, man.
You got players leaving the program.
Yeah.
Paul Weir's been a mess there lately.
He has.
Back to when they had Alford and even Craig, what's his name? He looked like a weird – remember that weird-looking guy they had there? What was his name? I forget. It was before the guy they have now. I forget his name. But either way, the Pit was a tough place to play, Donnie.
Yes, it was.
I got to tell you, though, they're a fucking mess, this team.
No, they're bad. And it's funny, too, because I was trying to eye up a team total on a Saturday night with that Nevada game. And Nevada, they blew them out. No, they're in a bad state. You're talking about not only, you're right, the fractured mindset of the team, and then you're losing talent day by day.
Yeah, it's weird. And you're full of transfers, so it's the guys you have really aren't, really anything anyway. Donnie, you look at Jaquan Lyle. Okay, he was he committed to Louisville. Yeah. That was first place he committed in 2013. And he's still somehow involved in college still. Just sitting out and
redshirt, hanging out. Now he's injured. Yeah, crazy. They had a bunch of misfit toys out there that should have worked if it stuck together, but obviously ain't working.
Donnie, he went from Louisville, then he went to Oregon, committed to Oregon. Then he never got the chance to suit up, so he transferred and was removed from the roster. Then went to IMG Academy.
Yeah, Florida.
And then left IMG, committed to Ohio State. Then in 2015, there was that, all that stuff with Louisville, and he might have been involved with that. He was then arrested in Indiana in 2017 for public intoxication, criminal mischief to a vehicle, and disorderly conduct. He was removed from them, and then in 2017, committed to New Mexico. He's been with 4 different teams in his fucking career. Jesus. What a tumultuous fucking level.
New Mexico style, yeah.
Crazy. But, Donnie, I know your favorite conference, the Southland, is.
Ooh. Give me some tidbits in that. Do you end up firing on anybody down there?
I thought about Stephen F. Austin, but seems
Yeah.
like this group just plays close games every night, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I think the line came down too because we were talking last night. I think it was at 9 or 10, and last time I checked, I haven't even checked in a while. What's the line? Is the line down even less than 9?
8.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, it's starting to.
You don't trust my Abilene boys. And by the way, if you guys don't know, maybe many of you do. When I hear Abilene Christian and Stephen F. Austin play in Stephen F. Austin, I get tremors. So,
yeah, you had a bad beat on them. Why is Houston Baptist a 1-16 team a favorite by 7 points tonight?
Are they at home, like a big night, homecoming?
They are, but it's like Incarnate Word's terrible. But yeah, down to 8. Stephen F. Austin, impressive. I'll tell you what, that McNeese State team can score. Have you seen them?
I haven't seen them. No, I haven't even capped any of those.
They score in buckets, man.
No.
Jesus. Stony Brook, that's interesting tonight. They've been cover machines.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have here? We'll do one or two others. Baylor, Hilton Magic's not a thing anymore.
No, it's not. That's not. It's funny. You said that too because I remember there was a game a couple weeks ago. I looked like, oh, they're playing at Hilton, and I'm like, I'm not sure that matters anymore. Good point.
No, it doesn't. Tulane's also, they've fallen by the wayside as well. That Tulane team stinks all of a sudden. They can't win anything.
I remember, by the way, Jeff, is Hilton Magic gone because there was a Fox Sports TV show where somebody picked Iowa State to win the entire tournament and then they get knocked out in the first round as they're playing the tournament? If you remember that.
I don't remember who did that. Jordan Barnes is saying.
He's a local guy, Jeff. Local guy.
Iowa State. You have to tell me. DM me right now. I don't remember. Jordan Barnes is saying Houston Baptist auto over. I'm not so sure tonight. Incarnate Word is horrible. They're really bad on offense. That just might be the case of that number is a little too high. And the thing about it, Houston Baptist overs is they're not as profitable because everybody knows about it now. Mm-hmm. The totals are like way too high.
Yeah, you get inflated at that point. This is one of those, Jeff, where we joke about where, they have what a tempo, and they get up and down the court, and it's like, wait a second. Now all of a sudden they have 11 points with 8 minutes to go in the half.
Incarnate Word, Donnie, 348 in the country in adjusted efficiency. Mm-hmm. They are a bad offensive team. They are really bad. I mean, regularly they struggle to score 55 points. So,
by the way, do you have any action today on the Army game, Jeff, today, or no?
No, I
didn't get that as a breakfast surprise.
No, I thought about it. I thought about Army. Army's playing good basketball right now, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I typical people are on that. The guys that you think would be betting it are on it. You just sent me that name. I don't remember when he did that, actually.
Yes, there's probably screenshots of it going around. It was like a $500 ticket on whatever they were. It's like, this is the best long shot in this entire tournament. And like the next day was tip off and they got knocked out like round 1.
Well, I actually had that happen to me a couple of years ago. You remember when SMU had like Shake Milton?
Yeah. Because Sixers Shake Milton. Sure.
Sterling Brown.
It was a really good team. Yeah.
I said they'd go to the Final Four. They lost in the first round. USC beat them.
Big man sucks.
Tim Jankovic, that hack.
Oh, yeah.
Big man, do you like Sanford plus 3.5? No. I Sanford is – you talk about a team that can't fucking defend. Donnie, look at their numbers, Sanford, lately.
Yeah.
And they can't stop anybody. Jeez.
You take a look at your Western Carolina boys tonight or no?
Yeah, I did. That team is good at home, man.
But is there an injury on that team though? I was looking at the other day. Who's down tonight? Is there their starter maybe?
No, not that I know. Damn it. Cameron Gibson was out the other night, but I don't.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's who it was.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. I mean, I bet it anyway. It didn't matter. They put up 81. That's another interesting talk, Donnie. Wofford. Yeah. That number's bet up. That total, it got bet up from 148 last night to 152. People just think because the Citadel's playing.
Yes, correct.
There's going to be an over. Let me tell you something. I bet that over the first time these two teams played. Wofford is not the same team they used to be under Mike Young. They've not been shooting. Yeah, they've not been shooting the ball real well. They play real slow. And Citadel is just they just jack threes.
Dude, you know what's interesting too about that, Jeff? When you look at some of the statistics or odds, we always look at tempo and like, well, how's their offense play? But sometimes you got to look at the defense of how you get worked on, because when you're looking at Wofford's numbers right now, like not only are they slow on offense, they're incredibly slow in defense, which means they're going to pick you up like half court, make you throw like 3 or 4 passes before you cross the timeline. You got to throw 5 or 6 passes before you get a shot off. That's always an interesting thing to look at too.
And the problem is when you have a team like that makes you work for a shot.
Yes.
If you have a bad offense and you're just like that's East Carolina's problem tonight. Like, how do they score against Houston?
Yeah.
Houston's just going to fucking pressure the hell out of you and man up and
they ain't beating you off the dribble. Yeah, what are you going to do? Beat them? Come on, man. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons, they've beaten them by 33.5 points a game over the last 5. Like, you've got to be able to score. And Citadel wants to play a game where they can, like Houston Baptist Citadel they'd score 250 points in that game because all those teams do is just run up and down. They don't play any defense. But Donnie, good to hear from you, man. I saw, Donnie, I talked earlier, a big investment for a big company today. Barstool gets a big sports investment.
All over the place. I was actually, because I like to read newspapers. Like, I don't read them physically, but online. And even taking a look at like the Inquirer out of Philadelphia, like one of their headlines is right there. $450 million valuation of a company. And I do get a kick out of it because Twitter's the greatest. Like, nobody likes anything at Twitter. Like, whether or not you like Barstool or not, you see that, and 90% of people are like, I hate that company. Well, some people like the company if it's worth like $500 million.
It doesn't matter. Like, but it's funny because all those people that don't like Barstool, a lot of it has to just do with like bad facts. Like, I saw one lady today, she's talking about, now, Donnie, keep in mind, this girl worked for Pregame.
The girl that was mad?
Yeah, with that charlatan RJ Bell. She worked at Pregame. And she's talking about how Barstool is so sexist and disgusting. It's like, they're really not. And it's like,
there's two different things. Like the whole sexism and stuff that like people get angry at, but it's really misguided because I know they do have obviously girls that work at Barstool, but it's sexism to me. Like, you can poke fun at certain genres, and yes, guys like boobs and they like to look at hot girls. That's really what guys do, but they don't treat them like that in the office. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, to have like a smoke show thing.
Look how hot that girl is. How could you ever work there? That company.
That's what guys do.
Yes, that's why the clicks get on there. Like, hey, look at this girl from Southern Illinois. How hot she is. I would never let my daughter.
But keep in mind, it caters to that demographic.
Correct.
Like, you don't think when girls get together, they don't see a guy and go, "Wow, that guy's fucking hot."
Exactly.
Like, oh man, like
I don't even care if they have girls on podcasts and the CEO is a girl. You can't work there if you're a girl.
What planet do these people work in? Like, seriously.
If we are offended by everything.com, I don't know.
And this is a girl that worked for a complete scam artist.
Well, who is
you're
it
talking
anyway?
She's some girl. She worked for RJ Bell for
really?
RJ Bell is one of the biggest charlatans in the business. He's like Vegas Dave. That's what RJ Bell is. And you're going to talk about RJ Bell because he's on Colin Cowherd's show occasionally. None of those big companies do any sort of. If they did any research, they'd find it.
Yeah.
Donnie, man, good stuff. Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, man. Good luck tonight.
Yeah,
thank you to people out there. Peace.
Yeah, see you later. Donny Rightside joining the show. Always good to see him. I'm glad he's doing well. But all right, that's that for the show. Gave over a lot of opinion. Just throwing around some games, seeing what we think today. I got to tell you, I want to make this clear. I love my game tonight. I really do. I set this pick out with so much confidence. I'm really going to be disappointed if it doesn't come in. But that's the world we play in. That's the game we play. So are you a fan of TT West Virginia under 133.5? Yeah, I mean, how couldn't you be? I mean, both those teams are such good defensive groups. Unders are tough, man. They really are. I know the college basketball ranks. It's you would have been an over. You want to have fun with shooting and stuff, but those two teams are going to really make each other work for shots. That's one thing those teams do. They play great defense. For me, it's a game that I think I wouldn't be betting over and put it that way. But all right, that's it for me. You all have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out and having some fun here. Bama LSU over. Totals in the 160s. That's really tough to do. But yeah, that's that. If you want to check me out, you can check me out on my Twitter account @JeffNadu. Yeah, that's that. You all have a good night. See you later.